Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the Colorado Rockies here, and we were actually about only a day or two after I last left you off. Of course, we left at the end of the virtual player draft, which is how we usually do it, but there's actually pretty much one big update that I have to give here, and it involves the injury list here. So we've got Yency Almonte here, who tore his UCL, and he's done for about 10 to 11 months. Now, last year, he wasn't very good. ERA plus was about 93 there. Yeah, just wasn't fantastic. Wasn't really the player that he had been even previously, kind of in real life. In real life, he'd kind of been, a decent strikeout guy, 10 about strikeouts per 9. Regressed down to 7. Walks were up, at least from his 2021 numbers there. Okay, so that went up, kind of returned to kind of the poor form that he was in. Actually, that season resembles very closely to his 2019. Wow. Okay, so he wasn't very good, but this year he had been absolute dynamite for us. Back to strike out a bunch of guys. Walks were lowest in his career. Biggest thing here probably wasn't allowing the long ball at all, which is something that definitely would have regressed kind of back to the mean. And probably would have been more so around 1 there, but yeah, I mean, that's such a huge injury. I mean, he's tore his UCL. He's been a fantastic reliever for us. He's a really highly rated reliever. He can kind of start. We kind of played with him on the role last year, but he did not perform well at all as a starter. So he is a surefire reliever, but it just sucks to see him go down. He was probably, he was just a great guy in our kind of star-studded bullpen at this point is what we kind of have going. And of course, we're in contention, so this kind of thing definitely hurts. I just actually kind of noticed this. Julio Urias, he's ready to come back of a severe arm injury. I don't quite remember what it was, but he's going to be coming back. It's probably a torn UCL or something like that, I believe, or elbow tendon, something like that. Or two pretty common injuries in the game. And then here we caught up Ryan Rollison, who was recently come back from his own injury. Didn't really make a rehab start. I had him going down the rehab, but this kind of happened right at the moment. So he's going to be coming up, taking the roster spot that he had. And yeah, so that's kind of the injury update. Big bullpen piece. And I'm going to head towards the All-Star break, and we'll check in kind of more there and see what we're doing here. Alright everyone, so we're back here at the All-Star break. Like I said, I would meet you at here, and very first we're going to go over the All-Star rosters to see how things are going to be looking here. So first we're going to be going over the prospects game rosters. I would expect that we would maybe have some people in here. Okay, so not in the American League section, not for sure. But I already see a guy, Jake Horsley, here. It looks like he's been starting in the minors here. He's actually not even on our top prospects lists here, but he's been pitching pretty decently. He definitely is long term a reliever. I saw it a ground baller. It looks like he has but yeah, he's a 2-pitch pitcher here. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, he's going to be representing us, and he could be a decent pitcher here. At least a useful reliever, extreme ground ball guy. Definitely would be interested. I'm looking at this guy further. Definitely add him to my prospects. Oh, here he is on the prospect short list. So that's good right there. So yeah, he's an interesting guy. Definitely a reliever going forward, but made it here as a starter. And I see another person. We have Michael Brown here, who is one of our top prospects in the organization. 65 potential power hitting first baseman. Reminds me a lot of Cassius. Big power guy, not a big, good defensive guy. Even though Cassius is definitely better defensively than this, but a bad personality guy. Yeah, just a big power mold guy. Has had a great season this year. Spent decent amount of time in rookie ball while I wasn't really keeping a close track of the prospects that I am now. Had a poor showing in low A last year after being called up. And his first full season in A-ball here, he's been pretty good. Really good, actually. It's like over 500. I mean, a WOBA of almost 400. WRC plus of 165. He's been pretty good offensively there. So you love to see something like that from him. And looks like those are going to be our only 2 representatives. Well, that's fine, of course. I'm not really looking for anyone here to necessarily be in this game, as long as you guys are developing. I don't really care if they receive recognition for it, but I definitely am looking out for those guys on my own. And now here going and seeing American League All-Stars here. Here's your American League, just so you can see if you're interested. And then here in the National League, we actually have a few representatives here, probably more than we've had previously. More pitching representation, that's for sure. So we're near Michael McAvin, I'm going to assume it is. He's been very good for us this year. Pretty much his first full look at extended in Major League Ball here, extended look in Major League Ball here. Started 5 games for us last year. Also appeared in a few games for the Cubs. But this year he's been pretty excellent. ERA right around 5. Striking about 9 guys. Walks are low. Home runs are fairly low. I mean, great ratings there. 3+ pitches. Good movement. Above average control. So yeah, he's a good young pitcher for us. 25. Makes his first All-Star team here, so pretty good. Hopefully he can continue to pitch well for us and not blow up like most of the pitchers we've had so far, at least the guys who have already been in the organization or in real life. And then we have Brett Conine here, also kind of the same thing. He's an extreme ground ball guy. We had him around in the 2 previous seasons. Last year didn't have a full season with us, but got 11 starts and was very bad in them. This year, not the same story. Pretty much the same amount of playing time, but coming out mostly out of the bullpen here. He does have 2+ pitches, really fastball, kind of average-ish. Not the best stamina, but of course an extreme ground ball guy. Used against he actually is a righty. Coming out of the bullpen, he has been excellent for us. ERA plus 153. I mean, he's been good, striking out a ton of guys, more guys than he has pretty much ever in his career so far. And walking less, so looking pretty good there. Brett Conine, that is, and that should probably do it. I wouldn't expect. Oh nope, dial back. I forgot about him. He's here. Another good season from him so far. Kind of interesting. Not really the same season as last year. His OBP is way down from where it was last year. Striking out a ton more, not walking as much. You kind of expect that with his walk numbers going down, but still, productive player. We'll definitely take this production. WRC plus of 133. Still just mashing homers pretty much all over the place. But yeah, good season for him. He's kind of been banged up with a knee contusion, although I've just been letting him play through that. I mean, we're not really focusing on him doing anything for us on the bases. If anything, I think that it just kind of hindered his defensive play for a few days or whatever. It's influencing his running and his range. But yeah, he's been pretty good for us. And so now kind of on to the team section of it. We're 40 and 47. So we pretty much had a meddling June. Kind of picked it up a little bit in July. Kind of. We've been playing about 500 baseball ever since we got out to the good start, and then we kind of regressed a bunch. We're 1 game above 500. Still kind of in the race. I mean, we're the 3rd team there in the wild card, but the Braves and Padres have big leads on us to this point. And we'll kind of take a look at the team home screen, and we're still scoring a decent amount of runs. That definitely regressed. I feel like we're definitely higher earlier in the year. Our pitching has probably been kind of the same. We're kind of middle of the road. And nationally, of course, we're always going to hit. But see, here's something that I definitely like. We were talking about improving the defensive efficiency last year, kind of with shaking up and rearranging our infield, and according to this, it's definitely been working. Of course, we were pretty high ranked in errors last year, which of course talked about how that wasn't really kind of representative how we really had been playing defensively. If we look here, our zone rating is a much higher, +3 in zone rating. 4th best in the National League. So that has been absolutely fantastic for us there. What I don't really understand here is our defensive efficiency is so low. That's 13th. Which is kind of interesting. I don't understand how that works, because like I think that efficiency would be bad. Maybe if you have a good zone rating, but you're just making a ton of errors. So based on the increased amount of balls you're getting to in the field, just there are a lot of errors out there that made the defense less efficient, or maybe kind of be the other way around, a poor zone rating, but errors still being pretty good. So I don't really understand that. Maybe look at fielding stats here maybe and see. Yeah, I don't really understand this. The only thing I can really think of would be, Hampton's been about even average-ish in center field. The only thing that I could think of is just our pitching just being impossibly bad in the field somehow. Which, I guess could be it, but I can't really think of anything else it'd be. So that's kind of interesting, but whatever. Won't focus on that too much. So yeah, we're not really in contending mode, and I don't really know what we would sell, to be honest. We still have a good bunch of money to play with, kind of going forward. Yeah, I just don't know what we would maybe even move on from. We got Matt Boyd last offseason. How has he been? Boyd has been pretty replacement level. I did kind of throw a bunch of money, probably overpaying him last year. We sent him to a pretty long-term-ish deal. So if anything, I think we might just look to move him. Maybe to a contending team, looking for just a guy who can help, maybe a guy who projects well long-term-ish. But I don't know. Other than him, like Marquez, I definitely want to keep him. Oh, is he hurt currently? I think he is. No, he's just actually coming out of the bullpen. Wow. They put Rollison in the starting rotation over Marquez, which is interesting. Marquez has been kind of replacement level as well. If we offered him an extension, it'd be pretty much what his team option is for next year. So I think honestly we keep him around, and we just give him the option next year. So yeah, I think going forward, Senzatella, theoretically we could probably move him. He's in the last year of team control. He'd want a decent bit of money that I probably wouldn't pay him. Urias is pretty much unmovable at this point. He got injured again on his rehab assignment, so I just put him on a new one, and his ratings just keep going down and down. So we're just gonna have to pay him. He's only under contract under next season for about 7.5, so we'll just let that run out, and then kind of see where we go from here. If he doesn't get hurt again, we kind of have to make a move on him in the minor leagues. I'll probably just end up releasing him because his ratings are awful. I guess with these kind of ratings, I think he'd be maybe a decent reliever. He's got some plus pitches, not fantastic control necessarily, but his stuff is pretty decent. So maybe he could be a good lefty reliever, but we don't really need any lefty relievers. We have plenty of guys in the minor leagues who are lefties, and honestly, I value higher than him, so I don't know necessarily what we do with that. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. Honestly, maybe another thing we could do is move Jeter Downs. If honestly really want to. It's kind of tough though, because his value probably isn't very high, because he hasn't really played at all this season. The major leagues, And of course, we have like Soto and Nicholson up the middle who've been fantastic. Honestly, I think those are definitely going to be guys that we look to move. Yeah, being Senzatella, Boyd, and Downs. Not going to do that quite yet because we're still in the middle of July here. I'll probably go a little more forward, see if maybe we can make any kind of progress towards a more winning record. But yeah, I'll check in like a week, and then we'll continue to talk about what we're going to do here. And then eventually pull the trigger. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so we're back here on the 30th. And we're going to be looking to do some of those moves I talked about. I waited this long basically because Downs had a minor, like minimal injury for a few days. And I waited for that to go away and see kind of what his value. Because I didn't want that to hurt his value. We did suffer kind of one thing here in the middle. Josh Lowe went down for about a month, fractured his thumb, which is kind of significant because, of course, he'd been very good actually for us last year, about a 2-WAR player and about 250 plate appearances. He'd been good for us this year, not quite as good, but he was our starting right fielder, which I didn't even notice, or he was starting a lot in right field, I should say, because Hilliard hasn't been fantastic, at least not as good as he's been. And it was playing him over Hilliard, Low that is, over him. And so Hilliard's just going to get more of those ABs. And then we called up Brenton Doyle, who had a very brief stint with us last year. 9 ABs, didn't get anything going, no hits. And he's been absolutely fantastic in the minors for us. So I feel like I just had to call him. I mean, last year hit 345, 377, 536. I mean, insane BABIPs for the course. The BABIP could be just as high in cores, so I figured why not call it up. I'm kind of an interesting guy. Can't really play center field at all, or at least his rating's kind of low, but he's already on the 40 man, so called him up. Just to take another roster spot. I don't know if he'll play at all. Doesn't really matter though. So yeah, we're gonna go, and first I think I'm gonna shop around the board because that's the bigger move, and then I'll kind of talk about what we're gonna do after that. Alright, so with Boyd here, kind of shopped him around a bit. Looked at kind of what we could get from if we retain some salary, which of course would not be preferable because it'd be retaining a little bit of money each year for a lot of years since we signed him to a long-term deal. And Tim Anderson is the only guy who came up with no money retained, which immediately I was like, you know, I mean, not something that really makes sense for us to do with our full infield. But after looking at the White Sox team, their first place team right now, and they're kind of in the same boat that we are. They've got Madrigal and Forbes up the middle. Forbes, wow, I actually thought he was a little better than that in this game, but Tim Anderson is barely playing, or at least he barely has played. I don't know if that's because of an injury or not. We can probably see. Yeah, well, no injuries for him, but like he's barely played, and he was in the minor leagues for a bit even, and he's not very good defensively at shortstop. He makes a good bit of money for them, $12 million this year. But the thing is, he's the team option next year with no buyout. So basically, we'd just be getting him for the rest of this year. And, you know, as I said, they're a contending team, and they could use some pitching here. They have Ronaldo Lopez here as their 4 starter. He's been kind of meh. He's been about replacement level, which is the same as Boyd has been this year. And they also have Brandon Lawson, who they just called up from AAA. So their pitching is pretty depleted. They also don't have any lefty starters. I'm kind of going for career minor leaguers who are in their later 20s. I'm just kind of pull together the back end of their pitching staff here, which is not good. And yeah, so I talked about a team like this being a team that we could do a deal with Boyd, and honestly, I think they fit the bill pretty well. You know, they're pretty desperate for starting pitching. And for this, we'd only just have to take on Tim Anderson for the rest of the year. After this year, we buy him out, and then we're just done with him. So, no, we could definitely waste a roster spot on Tim Anderson being a backup infielder to get Matt Boyd off our team. And on what is a pretty long contract that I just don't know how I feel about. I signed it because we were desperately in need of pitching. I thought that a signing like this could put us over the top, and our team definitely is better, but not necessarily because of Boyd, because he's been just about a replacement level pitcher. The rest of our pitching really stepped up. Boyd just kind of meh, which a replacement level player probably replaces kind of the production we got from the back end over bullpen last year, but I really don't want to do this type of deal and keep our money tied up in a guy like that. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. See if they would eat any money on this Tim Anderson deal. Actually, a whole bunch. Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't do all of it, but they would do some of it. It looks like they just really want to do whatever it takes to get rid of him, to be honest. Whatever, we'll just do 60%, and then we'll get him on our roster. That'll be it for that, and then we'll do the down straight here. And really why I want to do that is because, of course, we have Soto, and we've got Nicholson up the middle, and of course Downs. I kind of looked at his contract there, and he is, this is his last year of pre-arb years right here, so next year he's going to be wanting about like $5 million. So we definitely don't want to pay a backup infielder that much. Even with, how good he's in the past. He hasn't really played this year because he's been hurt / I mean, we just have better options at this point who are performing probably better than he would. So it just makes sense to kind of not have him. Which is weird, because he was the guy we chose over Rogers, and he kind of got his spot taken from him. So we're going to go ahead and chop him too and see kind of what we get for him. I'd hope that there'd be a lot of offers. Alright, so when I was shopping Jeter Downs here, I found 2 deals that are very interesting and that really, really stuck out to me. No, I just noticed your Alex Faedos here, which I didn't even see before. Interesting player back from the Tiger series, if anyone remembers that. But yeah, nevertheless, I found 2 deals that are extremely interesting, and they're also kind of extremely different. So the first one here is for Frankie Montas. Now he's a decently rated pitcher in this game, a 60 grade pitcher. And what's interesting about him is he's being used as the closer for the A's right now. He hasn't been particularly good. He's been below replacement level. But the thing is, he's been pretty similar to his previous year numbers. I mean, walking a little more guys. Wow, actually, allowing like about double the home runs. But the weird thing about that is he's a ground ball pitcher. So I don't know why he'd be allowing so many home runs. But because otherwise, it's just been pretty flat how he usually has been this year. I mean, how he usually has been in his career. So I don't quite understand. I mean, his ground ball rate is way down. And so I guess he's just somehow allowing more fly balls in the air to hit. And he's an interesting guy because I know we could get him, get the A's to retain a bunch of money on him. Like, I bet if we tried to retain, if we get them to retain, like I said, we could get them to eat 70% of this money. And even more, wow, 80%. We honestly, could we go all the way up? Not quite. Probably like 90-ish. Maybe 80 wasn't the max. But like, yeah, we could do that. So basically, we wouldn't be paying Downs his money, his like big jump up in money to be a backup infielder, and we getting Montas, who if we throw him back in the starting rotation, I'm like, he should be. If he's a decent guy for us, and he's decently rated, that's a plus, and we just aren't really paying a good productive pitcher in our rotation. If he's bad, who cares? And we, don't have to really pay a veteran starter, and we just cut our losses by just taking him off the roster and not really have to pay him anything. Now, the other deal here is pretty crazy. So the Rangers, I kind of looked at them a bit when I saw this offer. Kind of a similar deal to Bryce Harper here. But they're offering up Joey Gallo, who hasn't been the most fantastic. kind of since, like, you know, in this game world. Like in the previous years, of course, you know, he had that big 2019 where, you know, he really broke out. And then since then, he hasn't really been necessarily amazing hitting wise, which is weird because, of course, he's hit 50 homers and he just gets on base a ton, you know, hits a bunch of homers. Now, just imagine Joey Gallo in Coors, which would be nuts. I mean, I feel like he could break the home run record just if, you know, we bring him in and he has another season identical to like the 2020-2021. Of course, now he has been not as good as he was in the previous years and this year. Especially nothing like his 2021. And this would be a huge risk because he's under contract for a bit. And we could get them to eat a little bit of money, which would, of course, help. And this deal really doesn't make that much sense because, you know, why would we want to lock ourselves into a bunch of money? I mean, that guy's, he's decent. He's pretty good. Like, he's been a 4-ish WAR player. He is 29, so he will be kind of maybe, you know, only productive for a few more years. But I feel like he'd be decent to have because, like, even he's pretty decent in the outfield right now. Like, if I get him, he'll be playing center field for us, at least for a bit. I'll move him to the corner eventually. But I also feel like maybe I could get both of them in a world. You know, we bring Montes in. Because Downs I'd assume he'd be decently valued across the league. So, like, there'd have to be a way where we could get both of them. Like, they really let us just take... that's probably just them, like, getting rid of the salary here. Like, if we wanted them to eat some more money, then we could give up Apostle. But, I mean, he's still a decent young player. Just we don't have any room for him on our team. He's hitting now in the minor leagues, which is good. But yeah, he's 24. He's still pretty young. And we just don't have room for any corner guys on our team. And like this Conroy guy, I mean, he's nothing. So I honestly feel like I have to do this deal. Not only because, like, you know, it's like Joey Gallo, but like, I mean, just like imagine him in Coors Field. Like, that'd be like nuts. Who's this Fields guy? Not really anything. OSA actually likes him. Yeah, we'll give this guy Fields for them to eat some more of this money. So we'll do this. I mean, 30%. I mean, that's pretty good for me. Yeah, I mean, that's eating a pretty good chunk of change. Like, for the first year, it's like, it goes up to 30. I mean, yeah, it's going to be eating up to like 10 mil once we get to like the 30 mil range for him, which is pretty good. I feel like we have to do this deal for Gallo. I mean, we're basically giving up nothing, and we're getting Joey Gallo for like a pretty good value, at least for now when he's performing well. Who knows what's going to happen? So I think we're going to just pull the trigger on that, and it might not even be realistic, but the Rangers are a pretty bad team in this. And I mean, they're rebuilding. So what use does Joey Gallo really have to them? I don't know. So we'll do that, and then we're still gonna move Jeter Downs because it makes sense for our money, of course. Because I mean, you know, it's not smart to pay your backup infielder like 5 mil. So the Montes deal we're also going to do, get that up so they can eat a bunch of that money. And then we'll have a look at some of their prospects here and see if they'd be willing to move some of them. The Wilhite guy looks pretty good. They don't really want to deal him. Don't blame him there. This is a good defensive shortstop. Yeah, I mean, these guys on top of their system here, I doubt they'll do any of these really. Reed Detmers maybe we could get. Lefty guy. Wonder if we threw him in, if they would do it. No, they still won't. So looks like we honestly might just be doing this with them. which is fine because I think this is a good deal either way. Because I have faith in Montas performing well, and of course as a ground ball guy, of course we really upgraded our infield defense, and we don't have to pay downs, and we also get a quality possible pitcher who we don't have to pay either. So we'll do this. And looks like the fans don't really like getting rid of downs too much, but our fans are pretty good. Our attendances are going up a bunch compared to last year. So change around the ticket prices. Seem to make a good deal of sense. So we're putting our roster back to how it was. Doyle goes right back down without even playing a game probably. I'm actually kind of curious, did he get any time? Nope, didn't even play a game, which is funny. Montas, we'll go ahead and sim a day to see how it wants to shake out our lineups. Montas has him as a right-handed specialist. I mean, we definitely don't want that. Okay, actually, maybe we do. He's really can't pitch the lefties for some reason. See what we maybe want to do here. Montas. Wilson has not been good this year, which is not very good to see. So I guess we'll leave it like this for now. I did want to talk about moving about Senzatella. Which I still definitely could do. But we want to shake all this out now. Hampton, we don't need to force start him in center, because we're going to most likely play Gallo there now. Yeah, I mean, that just makes the most sense. Yeah, because Gallo can definitely play some center field. Or at least we'll see how it goes. He's rated pretty good defensively. Has he played any center? Not really. Since at least, like, the game world started. So we'll let him do that. And then we'll real quick just shop Senzatella here. Just to, like, see. So without even looking that much, I found the deal we're going to do for Senzatella. We're going to get this Tyler Ivey guy who has a bit of major league experience, about 2 years actually. That's more than I thought, but we're going to go ahead and get him. He's an interesting guy because he's kind of one of the guys in this game who, you know, you look at the ratings, you think, I mean, they'd have to be a pretty quality starting pitcher. I mean, he's got 4 pretty good pitches. His controlled stuff are kind of meh-ish, but still pretty decent. And he's a ground ball guy. He's 27 already. These guys, I feel like, don't really pan out that much. Or, I mean, occasionally they do have good 1 or 2 seasons. I'm talking about guys who, like, are kind of a little bit advanced ages, kind of good rating guys who just haven't got a lot of time. So we're going to do this. I mean, it's going to save us money. And we won't. I mean, we're losing Sintel anyway. Might as well get something for him. So we did that deal. And then that should do it for deals for us. Just got to put Ivy on the team. Someday to see how it wants it. I saw it wants Ivy in the rotation there, not Montas, which is fine. Montas looks like he got rocked in the inning he pitched with us. And then we still have Gallo in center field, which is pretty good. Wow, I got a lot of lefties, more lefties than I thought we would have. But yeah, so that's actually should go ahead and do it for the episode then. But we completed the trade deadline. Got wow, it's funny because now we have Rojas and Anderson. So basically just 2 veteran overpaid guys as our backup infield here, which is pretty funny. And not even really funny, but you know, not less than ideal. But I mean, they're pretty much only here for 1 season, so we got them backing up young guys in the middle. Maybe they'll play if the young guys get hurt. Hopefully they don't though, because that would of course not be ideal. So yeah, so that's gonna do it for this episode. We got the trade deadline done, and now we're gonna head kind of towards the end of the season here. And I honestly don't know how it's gonna shake out. I'll probably will jump into September for in a close race, which could happen, but I honestly wouldn't expect it. But it'll really be quite the comeback and interesting. So definitely follow it if it does happen. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next episode.